Hey, it's Josh, and you're listening to The Other Show. Spencer, do you know what is the worst?
I-15 rush hour?
Well, yes, absolutely. But it's specifically when you're driving along on the freeway and you get behind one of those trucks. Like specifically one of those dump trucks, right?
Oh, yeah.
And before you can get out from behind that dump truck, one of those rocks from the back of the truck slings up, hits your windshield, and boom, you got a chip, right? I absolutely hate it. Now, if you're like me, you watch that chip gradually grow from a little chip to a whole long crack that just goes along that whole windshield. I hate it. I hate dealing with it. I hate looking at it. It's just such a hassle.
Luckily, you can use our friends at Ashby Agency and Associates. They're backed by American Family Insurance, and they can help you with that crack.
Thank you.
AmFam offers $0 comprehensible deductibles, which means there's no out-of-pocket cost for that windshield. Additionally, you can customize your discount based on how you drive and save as much as 20% on your auto insurance with Drive My Way. And for the most savings, bundle your home or renter's policies with your auto, camper, umbrella, ATV, UTV, motorcycle, boat, snowmobile, business, and even life insurance policies. Let the insurance advisors at Ashby Agency and Associates help you save today.
Call Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 385-383-3117. Again, that's 385-383-3117. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. We're really going to have to work on that last part.
Uh-huh.
You know, ever since last episode, I have not been able to get that stupid song out of my head.
What? Which one?
The Lion King one, the Can You Feel the Love Tonight?
Yeah.
Ever since you started singing that, the last episode, it's been stuck in my head.
Look.
Thank you so much, Spencer.
Kenny found new love with Lieb and
maybe Olga.
And Helga, yeah.
Is it Helga or Olga or...
Porque no los dos. That's Swedish, right?
Hermione? I don't know.
You know, speaking of songs stuck in head, I consistently get the animated classic song from The Thief or The Princess and the Cobbler.
Okay.
Do you ever get the... You know what song I'm talking about, right?
No idea.
Okay, this is an earworm. It's going to get stuck in yours and every listener's head, and they're going to hate me for months. Bing, bang, bada, bada, bitty, bee, boo. We're what happens when you don't go to school. You don't remember that song?
I have no idea what you're singing.
Have you never seen the animated classic, The Princess and the Cobbler?
No. Like, how old is this movie?
It's got Michael Keaton. It's in the 80s. Are you not an 80s child?
Oh, don't pull that on me. There are a lot of similarities that I have with Kenny.
Okay.
And we just don't really have a lot of crossover with movies because he's the expert. And I remember some movies, I don't know. I just remember the obscure ones that nobody remembers, like The Peanut Butter Solution or Walk Like a Man. Max, the alien one or whatever. See, nobody really remembers those.
Okay, The Princess and the Cobbler. When did that come out? You say you know all the obscure ones, but Kenny and I were here talking about Scamper the Penguin.
Okay.
And now I'm talking about The Princess and the Cobbler.
No, because Scamper the Penguin was just Russian propaganda. That's not really obscure. That's not even really a movie. That's just propaganda.
Maybe I'm remembering the title wrong. I'm going to Google this. The Thief and the Cobbler? Thief and
you don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh,
man.
it is The Thief and the Cobbler. Okay.
From
The Thief
when?
and the Cobbler. From 1990. Dang it, not 80s movie. 1993.
See, there you go.
But it's got Michael Keaton in like 12 different versions. Like I'm going to show you this because my camera's working this week. I guarantee you recognize the art from this.
Nope.
Really?
I've never. That looks like a bootleg movie that you would find at the bottom of the bin of not the $5 Walmart bin, but the $1 Walmart bin.
Oh, so he actually began working on this film. It's by Richard Williams.
Okay.
This is why it's notorious. He spent 30 years making this movie.
Okay.
And then it was released against Disney's Aladdin and like tanked hard.
Yeah. There's a reason why nobody's heard of this. So, and it's a 90s movie.
That song slaps, okay? That song, and then from the Rankin Bass animated classic, The Return of the King. You've seen that one, right?
Isn't that Lord of the Rings?
Yes, but by Rankin Bass.
So what, they're puppets?
No, they're not puppets. And I said animated, Josh.
Well, I know, but like the stop animated puppet thing, like...
No, it wasn't...
Like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but it's the version...
It wasn't claymation.
Okay. So it's claymation.
But you've heard this song, right? Where there's a whip, there's a way. We don't want to go to war today. Where there's a whip.
Nope, never heard it.
Well, I got 2 earworms out there. And like, I guarantee you, everybody... I feel like I'm going to be making a lot of guarantees that I can't back up on this show. But I guarantee you that multiple...
Might as well start now.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know if Kenny has heard of any of these movies.
I guarantee he has heard of Return of the King by Rankin Bass.
Just the fact that you have to make sure that you differentiate it with Rankin Bass means that it is too obscure and too unheard of.
No, it's because you have the Peter Jackson seminal films, Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and Return of the King, that you have to differentiate between those masterpieces and the masterpiece of the Rankin Bass, Return of the King, and The Hobbit.
Fine. We'll wait until Kenny is back so that we can settle this.
What about this one, the Rankin Bass Mouse and the Mayflower?
I actually think, because that's a cartoon, isn't it? I think I remember that.
Just like The Thief and the Cobbler, and just like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, animated.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember that one.
Okay, now here's... Oh, shoot, what was my last one? Yeah, no. Oh, here's my last one. This is one that I grew up loving, and it's right up your alley. The Adventures of Super Ted and Spot.
Nope.
Really? That one is 80s. I know that one's 80s.
No, I've never seen it.
My brother and I had this rented from Hastings Video all the time.
Probably why I never had it.
We deprived you of that opportunity.
You only had the one copy.
Well, do you have any like TV shows or like movies like that where you, like, I swear I'm not sure if it's real or really existed or if it's a fever dream?
Yes. We talked about this earlier this year. It was the peanut butter solution.
That one doesn't exist. We confirmed that one didn't exist.
No, it exists. And it is the freakiest, creepiest movie. I mean, now that we're into spooky season, by the way.
Yeah.
It still leaves me uneasy, like watching it. Because I watched it last year. And it's creepy. It just leaves you unsettling because there's child abduction and there's the 2 ghosts that scare the kids. What is his name? Peter, I think. His hair gone. Then there's the whole solution to grow it back with the peanut butter solution and everything. It's just, yeah. And nobody really remembers it. And there's a whole documentary behind that explains why so many people thought it was a fever dream.
There's a documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember you talking about this now.
Yeah, there's a documentary, and it also explains how Celine Dion, it was her first English, like, released song. So there is a connection to something bigger than just this obscure 80s movie.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know Celine Dion was, like, connected to that one.
Yeah, she was. That was it. Like I said, it was her first English song that was ever released, and everything. I don't know if I would say it was her first hit, but she sang the theme song and a few other songs on the soundtrack. Okay. But anyway, like there are so many obscure, little movies that I think you do kind of remember as a kid in bits and pieces, and there are a number of like 80s cartoon Christmas specials that I remember. I remember some with like raccoons.
Oh, dude, no, that one, the raccoons. Oh, shoot. I put that one on a Plex server for you. For you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Is it so what are they called, though? Is it just like the raccoons?
The Raccoons. It was a Canadian TV show.
Yes, and there's like a raccoon that has like a sweater on it.
Yeah.
Or like wears a sweater or whatever. Yeah.
I'm looking this up now because we watched that one as well. So my cousin Carrie, well, it wasn't really my cousin. It was my Aunt Jill. My cousins Josh and Carrie. We would get their hand-me-down VHS tapes recorded from TBS, right? Because they had cable and we didn't. And specifically Christmas specials, like when TBS would run all the Christmas specials. So we had the Raccoon's Christmas. We had Yogi Bear's Christmas. Popples for some reason.
Oh, wow.
Remember Popples?
Popples. Yeah.
Dude, if there was anything I got back into collecting, like I'm half tempted to start collecting Ninja Turtles action figures again.
Oh.
But like Popples, Hazel would go nuts for Popples.
Oh, yeah.
Like, bring those back. If Furbies can make a comeback, why can't Popples?
Gosh, toys back then were so much cooler. I mean, I collected Pound Puppies, which Pound Puppies have come back, actually.
Yeah.
And
well, that's what I'm talking about. Like, Littlest Pet Shop.
Mm-hmm.
Pound Puppies. Bring back Popples.
Can we start like a change.org petition for this?
Specifically for Popples?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would love to have that back.
I mean, I know I would.
Oh.
But no, you actually bring up a good point, like the toys. Like, because we would record, she would record, all right? My Aunt Jill would record these for us and for her kids. Like Gilligan's All-Nighter, right? And it was just Gilligan's Island all night on TBS. Or Yabba Dabba Doo Day, which was all the Flintstones, like played back-to-back, hosted by Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh.
Singing Yabba Dabba 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 Doo Yabba. Yeah.
I do remember that, actually.
Yeah. But the toy commercials in between, I remember like Crossfire, or do you remember Buddy Al?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
The toys Buddy Al. Like the way they would say it, like, new from Buddy Al. And it was like water baseball or, some lame thing like that.
And then there's like Kid Sister and My Buddy. What else are there? I have all of the Ghostbuster.
Oh, the real Ghostbuster toys.
The real Ghostbuster toys. I have all of that. I remember when I got the whole set for Christmas one year. Gosh, so much better than just getting a video game.
Yeah. Well, they had video games because we have the original Metroid commercial.
True.
Which I think Jack Black was in that one.
Really?
There's somebody in that one. Yeah, no, we have the original Super Metroid, not Metroid, but Super Metroid in that one. And, oh shoot, you just mentioned something that like triggered a memory.
Was it Real Ghostbusters?
Oh, Real Ghostbusters. You know why they were called Real Ghostbusters and not just Ghostbusters? Like for the cartoon show?
Well, it was, I believe it was trademarked.
Yeah.
By somebody in Canada, I want to say.
Well, there was another TV show called The Ghostbusters, which was kind of like a Scooby-Doo Hanna-Barbera ripoff.
Okay.
And they were the Ghostbusters. They drove around like in a janky, like, I don't know, like a janky thing. And yeah.
Like a windowless white van?
No, not quite like that. Like the Beverly Hillbillies type car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to look this up. This definitely was not the direction that we were planning to go, but my goodness, like that just went down like memory lane.
Yeah.
Unexpectedly, but anyway, well let's kind of move on from here. Now, earlier this week or last week, we did put out a social media post.
Yeah.
In the other group and on our socials and everything, asking for people to kind of pitch to us why they think that they can replace Kenny, right? So we'll talk about that a little bit here in just a moment, but we actually do have, I guess you could say, a tryout, but we do have a friend of the show that has joined us. And this is a great friend of the show who's here to talk about something that is very near and dear to his heart, and actually to your heart as well, Spencer.
Vince Papali?
No, but we're going to geek out a little bit because since Kenny is gone, we can actually have a great conversation about sports.
I don't know if you'd call it great.
So,
hey, it will be.
From you, Brian, yes.
Okay? Just imagine it.
Anything.
Picture it, focus on it, make it great.
Anything involving Brian and balls is great.
yes, exactly. And so we want to say a great, huge welcome to Mr. Brian Booth to the other show. Welcome, Brian.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here, and I look forward to replacing Kenny one day.
Well, this is the first step
of a 12-step process.
So ends with a ghost hunt.
Showing up on time?
No, it's admitting you have a problem.
Oh.
Yeah.
Have a problem showing up on time? I gotcha.
Actually, Kenny's pretty punctual.
He actually is really punctual. That's the funny thing about it is.
Well, that's why it's the first step in replacing him.
It's not like some people I know who shall remain nameless. When we used to carpool, I would text him while I was still on I-15 and say, "Hey, I'm in front of your house," and I would still make it to their house and wait outside for 12 minutes while they made themselves a provolone, peanut butter, and salami, quote-unquote, sandwich.
That sounds like an abomination.
Well, he was eating it while he was in the shower, so...
Yeah, well, you know...
What kind of sandwich do you eat in the shower?
It was during my keto days where, you know, carbs were bad, and so...
I didn't name you, Josh.
Oh, you didn't.
So you have to eat a sandwich in the shower?
I was trying to maximize my time, right? And can I just say how horrible it is to mix up the scrubby brush with a peanut butter provolone sandwich?
I don't even want to know.
Do you know how long? Like peanut butter gets very sticky. That's all I'm saying.
You didn't use bread, so what were you scrubbing with?
I'm uncomfortable with this conversation right now.
Okay, moving on. Moving on.
This took a dark turn
moving
really
on.
quickly.
Speaking of showers, is there anything better? Like, tell me if you've ever done this. Like a cold Mountain Dew or like a cold beverage in the shower in the morning, or like after mowing the lawn.
Like in drinking it in the shower?
Yes.
I've never done that.
Have you never done that?
I'm just going to go on record here and say I have never had any kind of food or beverage in the shower in my life. So
okay, no.
I cannot comment to that.
Tomorrow is Labor Day. This is being recorded before Labor Day and released after Labor Day. So for you two, try it. Just try it. After you're done with your labors for the day, whatever they may be.
After I go mow my 10-foot by 10-foot lawn.
No,
then
Josh,
go jump in the shower and enjoy a very cold beverage.
After you inevitably run a random 5K that you heard about that morning, jump in the shower with a cold, like ice cold beverage.
Okay.
It's transformative. And Brian, you actually have a lawn and care about things. So after you're done with your labors, just try it. And I
feel like you're trying to convert us to this. It's like almost you're having this flashback from like your missionary days back in Argentina.
No, I'm not talking about bidets. This is like, so if we have the articles of bathroom for me, like the articles of faith, there are 13 of them. Like,
oh my gosh.
For bathrooms.
Are we going to hear all 13?
No, just the important ones. Like we believe
we don't have time.
Like 1 and 2.
We believe in cleaning butts with water jetted up your butthole. That's a bidet. And we believe in refreshing beverages. Ice cold in a warm shower rejuvenates the soul. That's 1 and 14.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's 14 now?
There's no, we skipped 7.
Okay. I don't know what you're doing.
This is not the conversation I imagined myself having when I signed up for this.
We came here to talk about football, and we're talking about bidets and cleaning out your bum.
And drinking soda in the shower.
Yes, soda.
And
scrubbing yourself with a peanut butter sandwich.
But here you're making fun of me because I accidentally scrubbed myself with a peanut butter provolone sandwich.
Because I know I am not the only one in the world that enjoys a cold beverage in the shower. There are dozens of us.
Dozens.
I think this is going to have to become like a poll associated with the post when this actually goes live.
I have no doubt this is going to end up on the cantina with you and Dave and KP.
Oh my gosh, you cannot even imagine how the conversation is going to go.
All I know is
how weird are your friends?
Dave's going to talking about wieners in the shower and eating them. It's just going to devolve.
I like this conversation.
100%.
Which is funny. We are totally set up to talk about football.
Yes, we are.
I'm wearing a jersey. Brian's decked out in football gear, and behind him he has a jersey.
I actually have 3 autographed jerseys on my... Well, 4 autographed football jerseys. And then 2 autographed basketball jerseys.
Well, I can only see one.
Well, that's... Hold on. Let me pan over.
For the audience, he's panning over. There's a jersey, an eagle head.
There's Jalen Hurts.
An eagle
There's,
head. Not stuffed.
Yeah, that's my Eagles fat head. And then I've got Carson Wentz autographed picture, a Brandon Graham autographed picture of him sacking Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. There's Donovan McNabb, who was the quarterback of the Eagles when I first became a fan. There's Deshaun Jackson, who was my favorite Eagles receiver. And then down below that is Vince Papale, who is the guy from the movie Invincible, who tried out for the Eagles and made the team.
Oh, Mark Wahlberg.
I thought that was Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. High five,
Yay.
Josh.
But the real guy.
Okay, before we go, though, I have to say that I, too, am geared up for football because I don't know if you've seen this, Brian, but I am the king of fantasy football. Look at my trophy. Can you see it? It's too big. It doesn't fit into the... Here, maybe I'll have to back up. Can you see that?
It is substantial.
It is...
Josh, I have the
hefty.
video of Kenny Pete giving you the trophy.
Oh, yes.
We need to put that on socials.
We should because it was a magical moment.
Transformative.
So we're geared to talk about football here, and especially this week because it's essentially opening kickoff weekend, whatever they call it, of the NFL. And we had college football kickoff last week.
Unfortunately.
Well, for some fans, I mean, you're an LSU fan, so...
And a BYU fan, it was rough.
You guys won.
I would not call that winning.
Yeah, against Sam Houston State.
The way we got the W, but we definitely did not win.
Hey, my alma mater almost beat Arizona State.
That's right.
So that's a win in some way. They did beat UNLV a few years ago, but
we're not here to talk about college football though, and open recent wounds. We're here to talk about the NFL, Brian.
That's right.
Brian is our resident NFL expert. So what do you have for us today, Brian?
Well, being that it's the beginning of the season, I have a few games that I, as an Eagles fan and as a general fan of the NFL, these are kind of my top games that I'm looking forward to this season.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's not one necessarily every single week, but these are the ones that I think there's maybe 11 or 12 weeks that I have at least one game that I think, most general football fans would be interested in seeing because they're going to have what I would guess would be, league-wide repercussions or they're going to have implications towards the playoffs and potential seeding and things like that. So, and just general storylines as well.
That's what I was going to ask about. I want soaps in my football, in my NFL.
yes,
I want to hear about Aaron Rodgers and his Owankaina retreat with the Butters. And I want to hear about Tom Brady and Giselle's most recent divorce. They're still divorced, right? He's still retired, right?
He is still retired.
as of this airing, he is still retired. That could change.
Yeah, well, and actually...
And I don't want to hear
I doubt
about
it.
what's under Deshaun Watson's towels. I just do not. But you've got the Eagles and the storylines.
I will tell you, there are no Cleveland Browns games making an appearance in this list. So, spoiler.
Oh, that's too bad. Now, just to give the listeners a little refresher here, and I don't mean to open any wounds here, but when we last had football here, we had the Super Bowl, which was probably one of the best probably the best Super Bowl I've ever seen, with Kansas City beating your Philadelphia Eagles. So that storyline is kind of is there as well. Tom Brady obviously retired. Aaron Rodgers left Green Bay for the Jets, which eerily similar to Brett Favre. Is there anything else that I'm missing?
Well, there's actually been several quarterbacks changing teams this year. You got Jimmy G now in Vegas, Derek Carr now in in New Orleans. Baker Mayfield's now in Tampa, and so there's a lot of new quarterbacks and on new teams, and also teams that have historically not been very good are now expected to make the playoffs and be a really strong team, a la the Detroit Lions or a la the New York Jets. Getting a new quarterback, the caliber of Aaron Rodgers, has that effect, right? And the Jets just, for the last, 10 or so years have just been probably one of the biggest disappointments in the league, just because, they've had talent. They've not been very well coached, and some of that talent has been mismanaged and has left the building.
Zach Wilson.
Well, I said for the most part, they've had talent. I don't know if he would qualify.
He's still in the building, and a future storyline is that him and Rodgers are dating the same mother.
I like this.
Could be.
So, okay, anyway. Sorry, I don't want to derail this whole thing. I want to get to the list that you have. So what's the first game that you have listed that people will want to watch?
Well, the first game that I am really looking forward to is Week 1, Eagles at the Patriots. And this is going to be the Tom Brady honoring / retiring his number ceremony. So the team, now that he's officially decided to stay retired,
are we sure about
the Patriots are honoring him. As far as we know, he has not made any, inclinations or he's not commented anything saying he's coming back. So Patriots will be honoring him during that game. That'll be interesting to see. The other really interesting game from Week 1, I have the Bills at the Jets. It's a division game. It'll be Aaron's first game with the Jets, so it's like, okay, well now let's see, really, Aaron, how good you are against a top tier defense in the division and in the conference for the AFC. Let's see what you can do. So starting the week starting the season off strong, I think that would be a very interesting game to watch, and that's on Monday night.
There's always these huge headline games that they kick off with, and so yeah, that Monday night game should be a fun one. It's interesting that they would choose the Eagles, but I guess at this point they just want to get the season kicked off, and
it's not college football where they have these tune-up games in the NFL. That's what the preseason's for. So when they kick off against their division, or at least a cross-divisional rival or a good team. So the only time that it's going to be something where like, oh yeah, you're playing a crap team is if you're playing like, I don't know, the Raiders or the Cowboys. Brian and I can both agree on this as a Packers fan and as an Eagles fan. Screw the Cowboys, right?
That is very true. Well, and here's the thing, and I will admit this freely. I have two favorite teams, the Eagles and whoever's playing Dallas.
See, this is part of the reason why I stopped being a Cowboys fan. I grew up a Cowboys fan mainly because my brother and my dad grew up as a Cowboys fan because of Danny White, right? He was the Mormon quarterback who played for the Cowboys. And then I think after probably around 96 is right before their third Super Bowl in the 90s. And I just got tired of them. Like I got tired of the scandals, the drugs and everything. And then I don't know, I've just kind of became an NFL, vagabond and just kind of chose the better storyline from year to year. But
I think everybody comes in, and you might find yourself in this position too, Josh, is everybody finds their NFL team in their own way. Some are generational, but sometimes it's like a friend. For me, my dad wasn't a big NFL fan either. If you asked him who his team was, he would usually say the Rams because he grew up in LA, but he wasn't like a diehard fan.
Mm-hmm.
He's a diehard Angels fan. That's something. But for NFL, there was never really anything, like you said, beyond college football fandom in my house.
Yeah.
So it's actually through my best friend growing up, Chad.
Yeah.
Like Brian says, sophomore year, when you start paying attention to the NFL, who are you going to pick as your team? My best friend in high school loved the Packers, so I loved the Packers, and it's kind of grown from there.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of it has to do, and this is just me speculating here, I think part of it has to do with the fact that when we were kids, we were very much, on the quote unquote keep the Sabbath day holy train. And so my mom did not allow us to watch football on Sundays unless it was the Super Bowl.
Oh, we didn't even get that.
We didn't even watch a lot of pro football other than Monday nights. And so I think that's at least part of it. And so you ask my dad now, I think he just kind of picked a team at random and just thought, oh, well, Cowboys are quote unquote America's team. But
I would fight against that.
If you ask him if he ever sits down and watches a game, he doesn't. Anyway,
I'm going to circle back around, actually. Brian, you specifically talking, and I wonder why this is why the NFL isn't quite as big in Utah as it could be.
Because we don't have an NFL team?
Well, that too. But you described a home very similar to mine where we did not watch football on Sunday. In fact, even the Super Bowl, until I was in high school, was what nobody in my family watched it. I remember specifically, like in my high school years, I would have to sneak and watch the NFL football in the basement. And during the Super Bowl, my dad would come down to check on me every now and then to say, just like this, while staring at the TV, your mom really doesn't want you watching this on Sunday. Just thought you ought to know while watching the game. And now my family watches it every year with us.
That sounds like such a dad thing
to do. No, see, and I was in the same household, and it wasn't until, what was it, Super Bowl 40, when Seahawks and Steelers, right? And the only reason why we watched it as a family is because my mom won a Super Bowl party from our local grocery store.
Dick's.
And so, no, it wasn't. It wasn't Dick's. It was actually Weininger's.
For such a wholesome city as Bountiful, Utah, you certainly have some pretty suspicious names for your grocery stores.
That's why we actually called Dick's in our household Richards, because it's kind of profane and it's just better that way.
No,
but anyway, that's another story.
I don't know if that's really any better, Josh.
It took the combined efforts of myself and my brother-in-law, Rick, to get my family to participate fully in the NFL. Because even when I got home from my mission and Rick was just barely married to my sister, the Super Bowl was at his brother's house, Jared. They now fully participate. In fact, my dad and mom were over to watch LSU get mollywopped by FSU.
Sorry for your loss.
It's been a year.
Anyway, let's kind of get back. I want to get back to this list of yours. Let's do your top 5 games, since we're kind of running out of time here.
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot we hadn't gotten to your list.
I know.
So,
like, you're subconsciously just trying to derail this, Spencer. So
that's all right.
It's what I do.
So couple other highlights I hear. Week 4, Chiefs at the Jets. Mahomes versus A-Rod. I think that's on Sunday night. For me personally, my top game of the year is going to be Week 5, Eagles at the Rams, because I will be at the game.
That is right. That's your first NFL game in person, correct?
First NFL game in person, yeah. Again, growing up in Utah, not having a local team, and then, going on a mission, coming home, going immediately into school and college, and then getting married while still in college, and then having a baby right away after getting married while still in college. it's taken me a while to get to a place financially where you can,
That's awesome.
afford to go. So yeah, more than 20 years as a fan, and this is my first game.
I have never been to an NFL game. In fact, I have been trying to convince you to go to an NFL game with me because the Packers are playing in Vegas on October 9th. And I have learned from my coworker methods to get cheap tickets.
I'm game. I've been, so I went to an NFL game.
Oh, good, because we need you to be the one to walk the street.
Oh, gosh. Wait, this is how we're going to earn the money?
Who said anything about money?
I don't know, but I'm up for any nefarious means.
Let's just say Jimmy G likes a little bit of your...
There you go. There you go.
But anyway, yeah, my first game actually was back in 2010. And it was at Candlestick. It was the Niners and the Saints. It was a Monday Night Football game, and it was where they actually retired Jerry Rice's number 80. So, kind of a fun game.
You have a knack at being like at important games when you're not planning on it.
Me?
Yeah. That's why I want to go to the Packers and Raiders with you. Because maybe that'll be like Jordan Love's transcendent game. I don't know.
Right. Or it could just be a horrible football game. Either way, I'm in for a road trip. So October 9th.
That would be week 5. That's that same week. That's Monday.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. So it's the day after. You should come up the day after. Come with us to the Packers and Raiders game. It's a 3-hour drive. You're going the other way. I've
already got my flights, though.
Those can be changed. Those can be changed. Come on, Brian.
We'll see.
Those can be changed, just like the Patriots' strength of schedule.
There you go.
Yes.
All right. So, other notable games: Week 7, Dolphins at Eagles. That's Tua versus Jalen Hurts.
Ooh.
That should be interesting.
Both of them. So the connection with them is Alabama. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Correct. So if you go back to, it was the national championship game, I believe in 2018 or 2017, one of those years. Jalen Hurts is playing against Georgia and is having a horrendous half of the game. They're down by 13-0 at the half. And then they come out and Jalen gets benched and Tua comes in and wins the game. Other notable games: Eagles Chiefs Week 10 Super Bowl rematch. Jets Bills also again that week, and Bengals Ravens also that week. I think would be interesting games to see. The following week, you've got Bills at Eagles. So that will be, Hurts versus Allen.
Now here, okay. So here's the thing, and I want your prediction here, your Super Bowl prediction, because I think it could be the Bills and the Eagles this year. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a prediction? I'd love to get your prediction, actually. So who's going to be in the Super Bowl next year?
I mean, again, a lot of things can happen. It's a long season, but just going off of, on paper, how teams should actually play, and granted, it never goes this way, but on paper, honestly, I could foresee a Super Bowl rematch of last year, Eagles-Chiefs again.
Okay, and I think a lot of people could too. So, okay, I wish we could sit here and talk the whole hour about football, but really quickly, I want to get all three of ours Super Bowl predictions. So I'm going Bills and Eagles. Spencer, who are yours?
Bills, Eagles?
No,
Bills.
Who's your Super Bowl prediction? Bills?
Oh, no. Okay. No.
Is it Jets Packers?
No, why would it be Jets Packers?
I'm just putting words in your mouth.
No, it's going to be Packers Chiefs. That's what I predict every year.
Packers Chiefs, just like Super Bowl 1?
Yep.
I mean, it's
Packers
a safe
Chiefs
bet, I guess.
every year.
Okay. Brian?
Like I said, right now, as it looks, I can't pick against Patrick Mahomes, and I don't think really, I mean, the 49ers can't figure out their quarterback right now, and the Cowboys are overrated every year. And I think, honestly, it's going to be Philly and Kansas City again. I think it's going to be a rematch. I would love to see a rematch. I think it's been a long time since, I think we haven't seen a Super Bowl rematch since we had the Cowboys Bills 2 years in a row in the early 90s. So I would be thrilled to see another Super Bowl rematch like that.
Cool. Thank you so much, Brian. Now, there are a couple things here. We want to know where people can find you. There's also a little project that you're working on right now, starting your own podcast, because, this obviously is not the place to share all things football. So you're kind of creating a little piece of the internet to start your own football podcast. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So what I'm working on right now is it's an NFL podcast, but it will be kind of told through the eyes of an Eagles fan. So we're not going to be covering strictly the Eagles, but we will be talking about the Eagles quite a bit. The name of the podcast is Feathers Gridiron Podcast.
I love that name.
And should be launching. Thank you. Yeah, I tried thinking of something that, like I said, would show that it was an Eagles-centric podcast, but not completely and totally 100% Eagles.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Green Feathers, Gridiron, I think it all works together. Firstly, the goal is to get to 2 shows a week, probably either Monday or Tuesday, and then Friday after the Thursday night games, and with a preview of the following week's games. But yeah, that should be launching probably at the end of this week or early next week is my goal, to get the first episode published. But yeah, I also have another show, being that this is the other show, so this is my other show currently.
Yeah, you have to have 2 podcasts to get on
podcasts.
So you can currently find me on the Rebel One Cantina podcast. Other notable previous guests of this show would include KP and Dave.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so all of us are really just trying to gun for Kenny's job. But
you're coming hard.
Yeah, you can find us there. You can find us there where the show drops every Tuesday, and currently just doing 1 show a week. And it's kind of, if you were to imagine, the reason we call it the Cantina is, it's just kind of, if you were to go to a bar, you got your regulars, and they just kind of sit and talk about their days. And sometimes there's specific conversations to be had, and people can come and go as they please. So Josh, you've made a couple of appearances, and we've had some other folks kind of come and go, but kind of KP, Dave, and myself are kind of the mainstays.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Brian, for taking this time, for being a real friend of the show, and sharing your wealth of knowledge of the NFL, of football. And we can't wait for your new podcast for Green Feathers Gridiron.
The Green Feathers Gridiron Podcast. Yep.
Okay, got it right.
I am stoked.
And yeah, we'll definitely plug it here on the other show and on our socials as well. We want to get the NFL fans out there connected with you, because they're out there.
And if you ever
Appreciate
need a
it.
guest or a co-host, I know a guy.
All right, I may take you up on that.
Now that was fun.
Yeah.
I am excited about football, the NFL. I still don't have a favorite NFL team.
I'll get you on the Packers side.
It's been almost 30 years since I've rooted for a dedicated team.
Any team.
And honestly, I've tried the Packers. I mean, I did. I legit tried the Packers. I had an Aaron Rodgers Packers jersey that I eventually actually just gave to you.
It's in my closet. I wore it for draft night.
And that's, I don't know. I just can't do it. Like, I even served part of my mission in Wisconsin. And
but you served most of your mission in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part. But, like, I just can't root for the Bears.
Thank you. This is why we're friends.
Can't. Like, and as much as I hate admitting this, it's because I don't like their jerseys.
I'm going to be completely honest. As much as I'd love you to be a Packers fan, just because, it'd be fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
The only team I could see you getting on board with and rooting for and cheering for is the Dolphins. For no other reason than they are an aquatic mammal.
This is true. Like, I mean, considering the teams that I've kind of rooted for more than one season the past 30 years, and again, like I've kind of just stuck with storylines or if there's a player that I like. I did give the Raiders, 2 years when they moved to Vegas, and that didn't really work out. I really tried to like the Browns because I'm like, maybe if I start rooting for a team that really sucks bad, then maybe that would kind of endear me to them once they start winning, and still kind of waiting for that. But I've tried the Giants because they were the first team that really successfully beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I've tried like obviously the Packers, and I mean, why not the Dolphins, really? Because Dolphins are
they
cool.
Have everything that you want, Josh. They have a history. They peaked in the 80s, and they're an aquatic mammal.
They did peak in the 80s.
I'm not saying that you peaked in the 80s, but look at your fandoms.
This is the time that you really do make yourself like a 90s kid, because you're like, hey, maybe I can just crap on everything from the 80s. I'll just take the good stuff.
Whoa. I'm not crapping on them. I'm just saying they peaked in the 80s.
I'm not saying that you're crapping on the Dolphins. I'm just saying you're crapping on the 80s because you're an opportunist.
I'm opportunistic?
Yes.
Look, I'm all for Save the Whales. Okay?
Fine.
And I'm an equal opportunity crapper. I made fun of the Cowboys earlier.
Okay, fine. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll try the Dolphins this year. I actually have a really good friend of mine who is a diehard Dolphins fan, and maybe
Not just
I
a
can
diehard
bond.
Dolphin.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's not Flipper if that's what you're asking. But no, anyway, maybe I'll try that this year. So
the Flipper sends me down in a completely different rabbit hole of memories, and we don't want to get it down another one.
Yeah, let's
go to the next part.
Okay. Yeah, moving on to the next part here. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the show, this past week, we asked you, the listeners, to give us your pitch on whether or not you think that you can replace Kenny. So we put a meme out there with a kind of a list of attributes, I guess you could say, that if you kind of check one or all of these things, you probably have, one or more, you probably have a good shot at replacing Kenny, right? Because we're obviously missing Kenny here on this episode. But these were kind of the some of the questions or some of the things that we put out there. Like, if you have 2 podcasts, if you like to watch and talk about movies, if you have a thing for Kate Beckinsale or Kevin Bacon, or a bigger thing for Zack Snyder, you could possibly have a shot to replace Kenny. Can you pretend to understand sports? The conversation that we just had with Brian, that couldn't happen with Kenny, right? Do you have an affinity for hipster culture? Do you choke up at the mere mention of Artax? Some heavy hitters here. Have you eaten everything on the KFC menu, or the Carl's Jr. menu, or the Taco Bell menu? Anything from those menus. Do you have a fear of ketchup on eggs more than you have a fear for sharks? You might have a shot. Now, the other thing is, do you have more dating stories than needed for 2 podcasts? Or do you have a sexy sounding voice? All of these, you might have a shot at replacing Kenny. So we put my voicemail number out there. We wanted to hear your pitches. We had a number of calls. We also had a number of people that replied on the social media posts. And I'm going to just read a few of these here. Like Tim B. Hunan said that he already has 2 podcasts.
Love Tim.
Yep, already has
Check.
2 podcasts, so this would be a third for him. Also, Kristen Stanger said, I'm not going to lie. These posts are triggering me. You're not the only one. Also,
Josh, Kent's just on vacation, right?
well, yeah, so
He will be
I
back.
guess let's actually go through the voicemail because I know that we have a number of those as well. And let's check that right now.
Hey guys, it's Brandon here. Hey, when I heard you were trying to replace what's his name, Kenny, Kent, Rizzo, well, or whatever the name this week's restraining order has on it, I thought, how hard could this be? I mean, I'm a Gen Xer. I mean, I drank from the garden hose. I didn't get participation trophies, and instead of playing war video games inside, we actually went outside and shot each other with BB guns. Well, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, what do I bring to the table? Well, I do own my own commercial hot dog roller. I love my Angels baseball, and yes, I have a great affinity for the little people community. In fact, one of the things I'm still doing is I'm searching for my childhood buddy, John. Man, I can't wait to get in touch with him. Boy, do we have some short stories to catch up on. Anyway, the things I don't have and I can't bring to the show, well, I don't have a podcast. I've never gone to work in my undies, and no, I've never peed on a cat. And I'll probably get you an E rating on that particular episode. So if that's what you're looking for, I might be your guy. Anyway, keep up the good work. We really enjoy the show. And by the way, for those who really get bent out of shape by little people talk, remember, don't sweat, well, the small stuff.
Oh, Brandon, thank you. You pretty much are like Spencer and my bastard child, really. Like, you're the best of both worlds.
No, he'd be like.
Oh, I guess that would. I mean, yeah, he is a Gen Xer.
But I really just want to pick your brain about your roller, because I've got a hot dog roller too, and you've got a hot dog roller. Obviously, your wiener roller is bigger than my wiener roller because I can only do 6 at a time. What is your preferred go-to brand to roll your wieners?
Hey, Josh. Hey, Spencer. And hey, Kenny. This is Dave Kelly. Hey, I know I tried out earlier to replace Kent and Spencer. I failed on Spencer, but I really feel like I have a strong chance at replacing Kent. I don't know if he's coming back. It looks like he's having way too much fun on his locked up vacation with Helga. So I just wanted to say, though, I'm going to be out of town in a couple weeks for 2 weeks of recordings for the Cantina. So what I'm thinking is, can we swap? Can we have Kenny come and fill in for me while I'm gone? Because I feel like we have similar qualities where we both make the conversation diverge from what we're currently talking about to get in a funny story, whether that be a dating story or a life story or a story about wieners. Not those wieners, Josh, but Spencer, your wieners. So anyways, let me know your guys' thoughts on having Kenny replace me on the Cantina for 2 weeks. We can play a game of Red Rover. Red Rover said Kenny right over. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.
I don't want to talk about Spencer's wieners. I don't care.
Hey, this is Cameron and Easton, and we are presenting a pitch to be the replacements for Kent Dunn.
Yes, because we had/have a podcast with a total of 8 episodes.
That's a lot of episodes.
Very popular, in high demand. People are constantly raving about it. My phone is constantly blowing up.
They're begging us to come back.
So the people want us. So it's time we make our return.
We're ready to step up to the big leagues.
Our pitch idea is that we want to do what we did on our show, which was hot takes. So we pick a topic and ask for submissions from people about their hot takes on that subject. And then we talk about them on our episode, and we critique them.
So yeah, give us a chance. And we're excited at the opportunity to be able to make fun of people.
And we have never been in a polyamorous relationship, so we've got that going for us.
Who's that?
Anyway, so yeah, talk to you soon.
Sold.
Josh?
Sold. I'm sold.
I love hotcakes.
I'm sold.
I love hotcakes. I'm all in.
Hot
Sold.
takes. Hot takes.
Don't ruin this for me, Josh. Don't ruin this for me.
Hi, honey. I'm just leaving for Daps. Please remember it's your turn to scoop the cat poop tonight. I had some McDonald's and Roy ate some of my leftover chicken nuggies. And last time I checked, it's a little messy. So, please have it clean by the time I get home. Love you. See you in a little bit. Bye.
Hey, this is Kent Poster calling in. Even though I had my audition, I want to come in with a few more points. I mean, first of all, we really don't want Kent gone, but I figure while he's over in Sweden living out his midsummer fantasy, that's not going to turn out well, much like the movie. Okay, so to go down your list of criteria, I already have 2 podcasts, so that's good. Kate Beckinsale, she is quite pretty. Kevin Bacon, he is quite pretty. Zack Snyder, like I said, meh. He's very meh. I mean, all right. But Nolan's awesome, so hopefully that counts. I don't have to pretend to understand sports. I'm already there. As for hipster culture affinity, I can pretend to be pretentious if you need that. Everything on the KFC menu, well, so long as it's not up at that meth lab location, I can try that. I don't really have any dating stories. It's been a long time, but I do have a lot of Uber stories I could tell. Sexy voice, well, it is sexier than my waistline. And I'm saving the last one here about getting choked up at Artex. You know, I just saw the Neverending Story for the first time this year. I've got to say, I don't get this whole sadness over that horse. It was in the movie for like 2 minutes. I was shocked. I'm watching this, expecting this big emotional moment. First of all, what the hell is this movie even about? 2, the horse comes walking, and the kid's with the horse, and he goes over. They spend a couple minutes of long credits or whatever, because the show is pacing absolutely horrible. And then they get stuck in the swamp. I didn't have any time to emotionally bond with that horse. I was seriously like, what in the crap is even going on? I don't get it. So I'm going to have to be out on that one. I do not get this movie. I was too old when it came out, so I never watched it. I'm way too old to have any appreciation of it now, so who knows what's going on. But other than that, judge me out by my criteria. Love you guys. Hopefully I can come on, because we just know Kent's like in some weird cult right now. Bye.
KP, you know, you're also the person that has admitted to crying in the middle of Secretariat. So I'm just putting that out there. That's a good point. But can I just say the point where you have a lot of Uber and Lyft stories for us? I think that gives you a really good shot here.
I actually think regardless, you should call in more with those stories.
But seriously, when you have a great Uber story, you have to call us. Call us way more than you do, because I would much rather hear that than like a recipe for some really horrible Jell-O, even though I do like those recipes, but you know, whatever. Anyway, I think that's about it as far as phone calls go. So what do you say? Do you think we have a pretty good pool here that we can kind of draw from and maybe go to our next round?
You know Kenny's coming back, right?
The Other Show with Kent Dunn, Josh Hansen, and Spencer Myers. Produced by Kent Dunn, Josh Hansen, and Spencer Myers. Show design and audio editing by me, Josh Hansen. Sales manager, Spencer Myers. Please rate, review, and subscribe to The Other Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, or wherever podcasts are found. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. To better connect with us, join our Facebook group, The Other Group. For past episodes, links to our other shows, and to shop for show swag, visit www.theother.show. And remember, when you're not listening to me here, you can hear me on my other show, the party in the back.
You can hear me on my other show, Bacon Cell.
Or you can find me trying to hunt down Kenny and drag him back from the sweet, sweet lovin' of Helga, or on my other show.
Kenny, you better come back, because if not, I'm going to kick you right in the balls.